Holmes on the Range by Steve Hockensmith. Read by William Dufries. Copyright 2006 by Steve Hockensmith. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with St. Martin's Minotaur and was produced in the year 2006 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Prelude, or the calm between the storms. There are two things you can't escape out here in the West: dust and death. They sort of swirl together in the wind, and a fella never knows when a fresh gust is going to blow one or the other right in his face. So while I'm yet a young man, I've already laid eyes on every manner of demise you could put a name to. I've seen folks drowned, shot, stabbed, starved, frozen, poisoned, hung, crushed, gored by steers, dragged by horses, bitten by snakes, and carried off by an assortment of illnesses with which I could fill the rest of this book and another besides. So it's quite a compliment I bestow when I say that the remains we came across the day after the big storm were the most frightful I'd ever seen. Not only had a few hundred cows gone for a waltz over the body, prairie wolves had snacked on whatever hadn't stuck to the hooves. The remaining dribs and drabs of gristle were mixed in with the mud like strips of undercooked beef in a bowl of Texas chili. "I'll get to gathering up the bits," my brother said as he swung down off his saddle. "You head back and grab us a couple of shovels." Usually when Old Red gets bossy with me, which is only about 100 times a day, I repay his piss with vinegar. But my brother got no sass from me now, as fetching tools sounded a hell of a lot more appetizing than separating innards from earth. It was a morning as lovely as a Montana spring can produce, so cool and calm and sunny bright you'd hardly think the blue sky above was the same one that had roiled with black clouds and lightning just hours before. I enjoyed a leisurely ride to headquarters and back, making the most of a rare moment of solitude in the sunshine. Old Red and I had been working the Bar VR Ranch nearly 2 months now, and this was my first opportunity to be alone that didn't involve an outhouse and the attendant odors thereof. True, a man I knew had just died in as messy a manner as one can imagine, but you can't fault me for appreciating a beautiful day while I could. I'd get my fill of ugliness soon enough. I found Old Red knee-deep in ugly when I returned. Whereas before the body had been a little more than a colorful circle in the mud, my brother was now shaping the raggedy chunks of flesh and bone into the approximate shape of a man. "Well, he ain't Humpty Dumpty," I said, tossing a shovel at Old Red's boots. "You can't put him back together again." My brother made no move to pick up the shovel. Instead, he wiped his hands on his Levi's, pulled off his Stetson, and ran his fingers through his close-cropped cherry-red hair. He usually wears upon his face an expression of vaguely irritated disappointment, as if he can't stop stewing on what he would have done with those 6 days God took to make a botch of the world. But he didn't look vexed or even disgusted now. He merely looked puzzled. "It ain't him I'm trying to piece together," he said, rubbing the back of his head like it was a magic lamp and he was Aladdin trying to coax out the genie. "Well, what's that supposed to mean?" I asked as I unhorsed myself. "I'm trying to put together how he got like this." "Well, I reckon some cows might have had something to do with it," I said, quickly plunging my shovel into the soppy muck. If I had to bury a body that looked like an explosion in a butcher's shop, I wanted to get it over with fast. "Well, that's the only way I can figure it, unless you spotted some elephants out this way yesterday." One day maybe I'll get a laugh out of my elder brother. This was not that day. "I'm just wondering if those cows had 'em some help," he said. I froze mid-dig. Without quite knowing it, I'd been waiting for this moment for months. It was like waking up at the sound of a train whistle and remembering you'd fallen asleep on the tracks. "Damn it, brother," I said. You're a cowboy, not a detective." Old Red didn't answer with words. He just turned and showed me that little wisp of a grin he slips under his mustache when he thinks he's being clever. "Oh," his smile said, "a feller can't be both."